Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's session we are going to discuss on chart controls in ASP.NET and C#. This is the example we are going to discuss in today's session. We'll see first quick demo. We are loading all the states to drop-down list, and here we created one radio button list to display the chart type. Then we created one button here whenever user clicks on show chart. So we have to validate this drop down whether user is selected state or not. If it is selected means we have to display the chart here. First, without selecting state, I am trying to access the chart. So it is asking to select state. So I am selecting first one state, click on show chart, it is showing. Here we are x-axis we are showing as state, y-axis we are showing employee count. You can select different chart here. For demo purpose I added 3 different charts. If you want you can add more than 3 also. Okay. Suppose I want all state data, then I can select state as all, click on show. So it is showing all the data. So like this you can generate the charts from the ASP.NET. For this we are going to use Microsoft Visual Studio, and we are using ASP.NET and C#. And backend purpose we are using Microsoft SQL Server, and we are using stored procedures to get the data from the database. So these are all the implementation steps we have to do one by one. First we have to create one new web project. For that I am using Visual Studio 2013. First we have to create new project. Click on File, New, Project. Under Visual C# I expanded Web. Under Web we selected Visual Studio 2012, and I am going to use .NET Framework 4 here, and I am taking empty web application. For this I am giving project name as chart. Click on OK. Go to Solution Explorer. Our project has been created here. Next step what we have to do, we have to create one web form, and we have to design the template. Right click on your project, click on add new item, select web form. I need one form. I'm naming it as chart control here. Click on add. So our web form has been created. To make things fast I kept ready everything design part. So design part we are not going to do here, but I'll explain you one by one. So here we created one page title like charts in ASP.NET, and then we created one table here to display our content. Here I am creating one table row to display the table header. So we kept as charts as table header, and we created one horizontal row after charts. Okay, then we have created one more table row. In that 2 table cells we are taken. One is state we are displaying, and one more drop down list we are displaying. First drop down list items we are not adding anything because we are going to add drop down list items dynamically from the database. That's why I am showing empty here, and I am allowing to append the items. Then one more table row we created, and in one cell we are displaying chart type, and one more cell we are displaying radio button list. We are taken 3 different charts here, column, bar and pie. We assigned some values to each chart type. I'll tell you why I assigned specific value for the chart in the next step. So next one more table row we are taken to display our button here. Finally in footer row we are taken one label to display the message, and after table we are taken one div here to display the chart. If you want to add chart you have to go to toolbox. Under data you will get the chart. Just drag and drop, and you can assign the values here. Here I added series to display employee count. I want to display in series employee count. And title I am giving for chart title. Here I mentioned as employee detail. In chart area I want to display x-axis state, and y-axis I want to display employee count. Okay, finally we are showing legends in the bottom. That's it, the design part. You can click and check the design. Design part we are not doing step by step, only coding part only we are doing step by step. I hope you understood the design part. Next step we have to add one connection string in web.config to connect with database. For that go to Solution Explorer, double click on your web.config. Here I want to add one connection string. Connection strings. Add name we have to provide first. I am giving as my connection string. Then we have to provide the connection string details. I want to provide data source first. I'm using Windows authentication for SQL connection, that's why I'm giving my PC name. Then you have to mention your database name here. It is demo. My database name is demo. Then integrated security true. So our connection string is ready. Then we have to connect to your SQL Server and we have to create two stored procedures. One is to get the state details and one more is to get the employee details based on state. This is our table. First we have to bind the state details to DropDownList, and whenever user selects state based on state selection, we have to take the employee count and we have to display on charts. So first we will create one stored procedure to get the state details. Click on new query, create procedure. I'm going to create one user defined stored procedure, get states. Here we will select the select store from dbo.employeeMaster. Here we will get all the data. From this we need only state. For that I'm calling state. Just try to execute this. We are getting duplicate values here. For that I'm using distinct. We need only each state at one time only, so we should not take any duplicate records. That's why I'm using distinct. Now check. So we are getting distinct states. Okay, now click on execute. Our stored procedure has been created, and one more we required to get the employee details based on state selection. For that I'm creating one more stored procedure here. Just get employees by state. Based on state selection we required employee details. Here we have to pass one parameter called state. Based on state only we are getting employee details. So and we have to pass the data type here. I'm giving 50 characters. And here we have to select. We need state. Here we need state details and each state wise we need employee count. So I need state first, then count of each state I want from dbo.employeeMaster. Try to execute this. We have to group by state here. So now each group we are getting the total count. For that I am giving as total staff here. Then try to execute. Yes, we are getting state wise total count. Now we have to pass the parameter where state equal to @state. Based on this parameter we are getting these details. Here suppose if we want all state details, that time what we have to do is I'll use case statement here. Case when @state equal to all. Then I want to display all the states. Then I have to get the all state data, else @state. And now what it will do is, if state we are passing as all, then it will take all state data. That means state and all states count, each state count it will be taken. Suppose if you are passing any specific state name, that time it will get only that state related data. Okay, now click on execute. It's created. Our two stored procedures has been created here. You can check it, refresh here. So our stored procedures has been created here. Next step, what we have to do, we have to create one class file to store business logics. Right click on your project, click on add class. I am going to add one business logic class. employee details. I'm giving class name as bll underscore employee details. All our business logics will be stored here. From this we will call. Click on add. Our class has been created now. Now we have to create one function to get the state data and one more function to get the employee details based on state selection. For that, first we have to create one static function to get the connection string, and we have to create one local variable. Initially I am assigning empty. Then we have to read the connection string from our web.config. For that we need some namespaces here, configuration, and I need data. One more namespace, I want SQL client, because we are going to connect with SQL Server. Now we have to read the connection string name here. Configuration manager dot connection strings. We have to pass our connection string name here. So this is our connection string name dot connection string. Now we have to return the connection string. Okay, now we are reading connection string from web.config. Now we have to create one function which will return data table of states, get states. We have to read the state data from the database, that means SQL Server. Here I need SQL connection. I'm assigning null, and I need SQL command, and we need SQL data adapter, and finally we have to create one data table. I am giving object name as states. Now we have to try to communicate with our database server using, first we have to establish connection here, new SQL connection. We have to call connection string here. Here we created connection string, from here we are calling. Now our connection has been established. Now we have to create command here, connection dot create command. Then we have to provide command type. What type of command we are going to pass? We are going to use stored procedure. Then we have to provide command text. So here we have to pass our stored procedure name. To get the states we used usp underscore get states. The stored procedure name we have to pass. Then SQL data adapter, new SQL data adapter, and we have to pass our command here. Finally we will get data table. You have to fill with our DT states. Finally we have to return the data table. Now we are getting state details from the SQL database, and I need one more function to get the employee details. So we have to read the employee details here. For that I need stored procedure name. We have to change. This is the stored procedure name I am giving here. I am changing data table name as employees. Here we have to pass one parameter called state. Based on state only we are taking the employee count and the employee state details. Parameters dot add here we have to pass the parameter name. Parameter name we will get it from get employee details. I'm copying this parameter name, and here we have to get the state name, and we have to assign what type of data type it is. We are giving varchar dot value equal to, so we are assigning state name here. Okay, now our business logics are clear. We are getting data, and based on user input, based on user state selection, we will get the employee details, that is state and count. Now next step what we have to do is we have to create one function to load the states in DropDownList. For that, go to your ASPX page, right click on that, view code. Here I'm creating one function, get states. Okay, whenever page is loaded, I want to bind in dropdown. For that, if not is post back, I want to call this function, creating one data table. For that, I want to import some namespaces data. Here I am creating one data table. I am giving object name as dt states, and also we have to initialize our class name here, business logics, to get the data. I am creating one object, employees new. So now we can read the data from our business logics. obj employee dot get states. Now we will get the state details into this data table. Now we have to bind in our dropdown. If dt states dot rows, if it is greater than 0, that means if there is any states available, then only it should bind. First we have to clear whatever the data we have in the drop-down list. Then we have to assign the data source to drop-down list. Data source is states. Then we have to assign the data text field here. Text field will be, you can check it here. So we are getting state here. State is the text field, and I'm copying this, and I want to assign data value field also. So for both I am assigning state name only. Then I want to add one all option and select state option. For that, items dot add, we have to add new list items here. First we will add select state. Whenever drop down is loaded, it will be selected. Then I want one more called all I want. So for value also I am assigning all to this one. Finally we have to bind the data. Suppose if there is no records, then what we have to do is we will copy this. So we don't want these things, and all also not required. That means it will show only empty drop down. So whenever user is loaded into the first time, that time states will be called, this function will be called, then drop down is binding inside this function. Okay, suppose if there is any error, we need to display. For that I am selecting entire code, right click, surround with, I want to keep it in try catch block. If there is any exception, we have to display on label. Here exception dot message, and I want to change the forecolor of this label. If there is any error, Then I want to display in red, color dot red. Okay, that's it. Drop down part we have completed. Then we have to create one more function to get the employee data based on user input. For that I am creating one more function, void get employee details. Here we need one more button click event here. I think we have copied and we have not created this one. Create new event whenever user clicks on this one. So we have to call this function. We have to display here. Suppose user is trying to click on button without selecting any state. That time we have to show the error message. Suppose is null or empty. DDL states dot selected value. Then we have to display the error message, and we have to hide the chart also. If chart dot visible equal to false, I don't want to display at the time of any error. And states we have to focus, because state is not selected means we have to focus on drop down. Then we have to display the message like select state to generate chart, and we have to change the forecolor here. System dot drawing dot color dot red, we have to display in red. Else there is selected any state, then we have to call the employee details. Before that we have to make it as, before that we have to clear the message and making as empty. Then I have to create one data table again here to get the employee details from our business class obj, from our business logic class obj employees get employee details. It is expecting state string, that means state we will be getting from drop down list selected value. Okay, suppose if we found any employee records, that time count will be greater than 0, then we have to bind the chart. By default we are hiding the chart visible now because we have the data, that's why we are showing. If there is any error, that means user is not selected any state, that time we are making as chart visible false, that's why here we are enabling again, otherwise it will not display the chart. Now I want to assign the data source to my chart, DT employees. Here we have to select the chart type, my chart dot series of 0 chart type. So series dot chart type. Chart type we will get it from radio button list. Here select the series chart type, click on F12. Here see here, for each chart type there is one fixed value, that's why here we are passing some values. Okay, here for column we added 10 because for column we added 10 here. See here, different types of chart controls available here. Column is 10 and bar is 7 and pi is 17. That's why I had taken values manual, because here normally we will dynamically load the chart types. Here we are hard coded, that's why I assigned these values here. Okay, hope you understood this. Now this chart type we will get it from our radio button list, that is RBL chart type dot selected item dot value. Here we are getting what type of chart is requested by the user. Now we have to assign this data. X-axis, X value member we have to assign here. X-axis I want to display state here, and also Y-axis value member I want to assign this value, total staff. Here I am assigning total staff in Y-axis. Chart type dot series of 0. Whether you want to show the value in the label or not. So we want to display label also. Now I want to format chart area. Here I don't want to display any major grid values, that's why I'm making as false here. Also for Y-axis also I don't want to display any grid values, that's why I'm disabling here. Members. Then finally we have to bind the chart data. My chart data bind. Okay, so our function is ready to get the employee details based on user selection. Now select entire code, right click, click on surround with. You have to keep it in try catch block. If there is any exceptions, then we can catch here. We have to display the message. I'm taking from here, so I'm displaying the exception message if there is any. So now everything is ready from our point. Now build the application. There is no error. Run the application now by pressing Ctrl F5. Our application is loading here. So here we are binding states from the database. So and we added all also to select all states. And here we are showing radio button list. User can select any one only. If you want, you can add more than 3 also. For demo purpose, I added 3 different charts here. And whenever user clicks on show chart, we have to validate this drop down list whether user is selected state or not. Then we have to display the chart data. First, I am trying to access the data without selecting any state. Click on show chart. It is asking to select state, and I am selecting one state here. Click on show chart. It is displaying x-axis. It is displaying state name. Here y-axis showing employee count. I am selecting some other chart type. It is showing as we expected. State name here it is showing. Total employee count here we are displaying. Now I want all states. Click on all. Click on show chart. It is showing each state data here. So like this you can use different types of charts here. If you want, you can add more than 3 also here. That's it. As we expected, it's working fine. I'm sharing source code in description. You can download for your reference purpose. Thanks for watching my video.